Good evening. My name is Tawana Collins Booth, and I'm sitting next to my favorite sidekick, Dr. Arnell Brady. And welcome to Blue Table Talk. And on tonight's episode, we'll be talking about the Autism Act that passed on September the 20th, and we just need the president's signature so we can get the services. And we'll also be talking a little bit about fast forward again today. So, Mr. Brady?
Yeah, I think that we should talk about fast forward as often as we can because of the results that we are finding with the implementation of this program with people on the autism spectrum. In all honesty, we did not expect the results that we are getting. We did not expect that people on the autism spectrum would improve so much when they are able to successfully do some of the fast forward programs. The fast forward program, as we've said before, is an auditory training program. It's an auditory training program based on neuroplasticity. And let me talk about that neuroplasticity for just a moment. Neuroplasticity is based upon the human brain's ability to change.
Okay.
We know that as we learn, the human brain gains power. That power is based upon the cells and the connection of those cells in the human brain. So it's almost like feeding an empty vessel, one could think of. As you learn, you put more stuff into your vessel. You put more stuff into your vessel. But what we have learned, what the neuroscientists have discovered, is not only the human brain like a vessel in which you can fill with learning, but the neuroscientists have discovered that the human brain is capable of actually changing the shape, changing the structure of the vessel, making it more capable of learning.
Okay.
So what I'm simply trying to say is that if the human brain is exercised, if the human brain can learn, if the human brain can exercise and learn, it will not only change how much it knows, but it will also change how it learns.
Okay.
And this is what we have discovered with the Fast Forward program. Let me talk about two kids that we had this summer.
Okay.
One a 10-year-old and one a 13-year-old. The 10-year-old had tried to give the Fast Forward program to this child in the school. It was a total washout because nobody in the school knew how to administer the program.
I was just going to say, why was it? What happened?
So the parent brought the child here for the summer. And let me just read you what happened in 37 hours. 37 hours of doing fast forward. 37 days, I'm sorry. 37 days of doing fast forward. And they did fast forward for 90 minutes a day.
Okay.
For 37 days. That child went from a reading score grade level of 3rd grade to 4th grade. But here is the real beauty of what happened during that summer in those 37 days. This child's comprehension went from the 38th percentile to the 63rd percentile.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's
That jumped up there.
In 37 days.
That's 1 month, really.
Not only
A little over.
did we see an improvement and change in this child's reading comprehension, but we also saw significant change in this child's social behavior.
Oh, yeah.
The child became much more social and interactive, initiating something that the child never did, initiating conversations with his peers and adults as well, participating in conversations. The mother also said that he now just is exhibiting, it's almost like he's exhibiting an understanding of others,
Okay.
anticipating their emotions. Now, we know that many children and adults on the spectrum appear as though they don't recognize the fact that other people have minds and have feelings and have understandings. It seems like they're pretty much centered in their own world.
Yeah, true.
But for this parent to observe that this in the child, and we also saw it right here in the clinic, that this child now was participating a lot more, commenting on things a lot more. And that was in 37 days of intensive work. The other child was a 13-year-old. A 13-year-old who had a reading comprehension level at the beginning of the summer at the 5th grade level. And let's see, what was their timeline? Their days, I think theirs was in 28 days.
Okay, that's
This child went from the 5th grade level to the 7th grade level in 27 days. Went from comprehending at the 44th percentile to the 66th percentile. Vocabulary went from the 40th percentile to the 61st percentile. Phonological awareness went from the 45th percentile to the 78th percentile. This was in 28 days.
Yeah.
28 days. This is telling us that that human brain, with the proper instruction, with the proper exercise, can change. We have even seen this in much, much older participants. Children and young adults that have shown cognitive delays for years. Because I had a student like that who had was trying to go to college, had been in the cognitive delayed program all of their school life. Came here, did the fast forward programs over the summer.
Okay.
Had tried to go to college and had failed out the first year. Came back, did the fast forward program, and was able to successfully graduate from the junior college in the logistics program.
Wow.
So this is why I don't think we're talking enough about fast forward, and that's why
this
any
my
opportunity,
favorite program, so
any
we could talk
opportunity-
about fast forward every week.
any opportunity that we get, I think we should talk about fast forward, because fast forward is really not available in a lot of places.
We talked about that.
We can make fast forward available in many more places. And this is why it's so important that we watch what happens with the Autism Cares Act.
Okay.
Because that almost $2 billion is going to be dispersed. We need to contact our state senators and our U.S. senators and find out where is this money going. Because believe me, people who received it under the old act, which expires, on September the 30th?
30th, yep.
Of course, they know. So, of course, they're standing in line first.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that they should get it first, because I'm sure there's probably some more qualified groups out there that would benefit much more from this act and the benefits of it. And they need to get in there and try to find out where the money is going and how they can benefit, because it is your tax dollar.
Okay.
It is your tax dollar. And you do qualify for participation in this. And so let's not let it just go to those favorite or select few. Let's get our fair share.
Yeah, we definitely want our fair share.
Yes, but
right in our own communities.
And people say, well, what's to this fast forward? Fast forward was very it was a genius discovery. It was a genius development of a program, because what they have done, they have put these exercises into video games.
Mm-hmm.
And what child doesn't like a good video game? They have put these exercises, these brain exercises, into the video game. That makes it very attractive, especially for children. And underneath there is signals and signs and sounds that are stimulating the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Stimulating the brain. And just like the little 10-year-old that showed that great improvement in comprehension. What really happened there? I believe what really happened there was that his brain was made more capable of holding information and processing information at a faster speed, which enabled his comprehension to improve.
Okay. Because that's what I say. So the fast forward is kind of like retraining the brain.
It's yes, you could say it is retraining the brain, because what happens when we are born into this world, the environment begins to shape the brain.
Okay.
It begins to shape that learning vessel. That's how we learn the language of our environment. That's why we learn, if you're in an English environment, that's why you learn English instead of Spanish or French, because that environment is shaping that brain. That's how you learn how to have manners at a table, or if you don't have manners at a table. All of that is brain learning. The brain is a complex learning machine. It is the organ of learning, just like our heart is the organ of circulation, our stomach the organ of digestion.
Mm-hmm.
But the human brain, being the organ of learning, is shaped by the environment. But now what we have discovered is that you can take that brain and give it certain exercises that are consistent with plasticity, consistent with change, and you can, as you say, retrain, reshape the brain. So a child, say, who is born with autism, whose brain has now been affected by inflammation that does not allow for long axons to develop, long interhemispheric brain connections. And so the child appears like they're not listening, like they're not comprehending. And that's because the interconnections of the hemisphere are not connecting. They're not working. We can take that brain and through exercise create new interhemispheric connections through daily, consistent, intensive exercise. And as we just saw, 27 days, 30-some days, we see these kind of results. What happens when the child continues on?
I can tell you what happened. They wind up in college.
We had a little girl who was also participated in the program this summer. She was 13 too.
Okay.
Graduated from grammar school, but she was reading at the 5th grade level. She was supposed to just have passed 8th grade. She did the program this summer. At the end of the summer, she was at the 9th grade level. And it's interesting because her grandmother told me last week that we had gotten a backhand slap compliment from this little girl. The grandmother said, well, I guess all that work we did at Mr. Brady's paid off.
Good. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. So, and now she started high school, and she's doing so well that now they want to put her, and this is just the 3rd, 4th week of school, because she's in a Catholic high school. They want to put her in advanced classes, so they're going to wait until the midterm exams to put her in advanced classes.
But this is another thing that we talked about. Okay, so you said she was 13 years old.
13 years old.
And when she came to you, she was reading at a
5th
grade level. But she was in 8th grade.
But she was in 8th grade, graduated.
Okay,
and what really makes this interesting, she was in the running for the class valedictorian.
But that's what I'm just going to say. So they just kept passing her, and she wasn't even reading on the 8th grade level?
But she was one of the best in the school. So that's why we really have to watch.
But no, that's what we were saying last week about the IEPs.
Yeah,
because if she was reading,
and she didn't have an IEP. She didn't have an IEP.
She reading on the 5th grade level, but that's what we were saying. How they just continue some schools.
Well, she was a good worker. She was a good worker.
Go to the next grade. Let the next teacher deal with you.
Yeah, she was a good worker. She did all of her homework. Everybody liked her. She was on the student council. She was popular, but she still had that reading deficit that had went undetected. Because,
or did it go undetected?
Oh, did it go?
No, 5th grade, 6th. She had 6th grade. Nobody. 7th grade. 8th grade, she came to you when she was getting ready to graduate, right?
When she was,
or over the summer after she graduated.
After she graduated.
Okay, well, so she had 3 grades, and they still didn't know. She was still reading on the 5th grade level. So and that's why when she went to a school
and going to a Catholic high school.
And when she went to that school, or when it got to that school, and they reading on the high school level.
Yeah.
And she's reading at a 5th grade level. That's where the problems start.
That'd have been culture shock. That's what we call culture
and that's what happened in some of the schools when they just pass the kids through and not following through with it. Are they reading on these levels? They test levels. Are they up to par? You can go to this school. You go to a private school, or you go to a school that's taking care of their business, and now you sitting up thinking you're not smart.
And you really have to watch some of these school testing situations, because are they changing test scores? Are they helping the child with the tests, to make themselves look good? This is why parents really have to be up on what's going on with their child. You cannot just trust solely what's happening in these schools if you're not there and a part of what's happening.
Wow. My AFU sister say schools are teaching for the test,
Mm-hmm.
not for our kids to learn for their future.
Ooh, that's right on. That's right on. That's right on. That's right on.
And that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
And
that
that's
could
what
have been a
that's
possible.
what we talking about.
She was in the running for valedictorian.
And she was going to a Catholic
She's
school.
going to a Catholic
No.
high school because in her classes in school she got all A's and she did her homework. She was likable and nice. But, and this is what happens to a lot of kids we see. A lot of kids are coming out of these schools, are coming out of the high schools and go to college and they say they're not prepared. They're not prepared. They're not prepared for the workloads that they're having in college.
Not if the teacher's just passing you through. How can you be prepared?
Passing them through.
We talked about that, like I said last week, just changing the years and the dates, but not changing the goals or really doing what you're supposed to do.
That's why we have to look very closely. You know, a lot of the school systems are bragging about the fact that we have 100% going to college. You know,
they like to say that, which is a good thing.
We have all kind of scholarship
proud of all
money
the
in
schools
this.
that send 100%.
But are they talking
college.
about? But are they talking about how many kids come back after that first year?
Yeah, well,
that's another story.
You got to track that part.
Got to track that part. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's another thing. They probably have to do a little survey or
sure.
investigate, like,
and I
how
think
many of those kids graduate from college.
I've heard it's as high as 80%.
That's a lot.
80% come back after the first year. That's too many. That's too many.
But I wanted to ask you about the 10-year-old and the 13-year-old that came during the summer, during the Fast Forward program. So since the program boosts them up so much, are they coming back? Like, are they coming moving forward with the program, or they waiting to like break time?
Yeah, the summer was a very special program, and some of I know one of the boys both of the boys are continuing on because their Fast Forward license lasts for 4 months. So,
okay.
So they're gonna they will continue on with the program to the end of October.
Okay.
But then we're gonna look and see after that ends what's gonna be next. And as a matter of fact, we're already meeting with both sets of parents to talk about what's next after the end of October.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Both
Well,
will
I'm
be
pretty
continuing.
sure with those scores,
yes,
they'll be continuing
very
on.
definitely,
I hope so.
Very definitely. Because we're definitely going to, because what we have seen, and we have seen this a lot in the autism population, we have seen that after programs like Fast Forward, the Interactive Metronome, we have seen autistic children go from severe language impairment to normal.
Wow.
To normal.
Well, I'm a testament to the Fast Forward program. So, like I said, that's my favorite program, and I think that's why the first episode of Blue Table Talk, we talked about Fast Forward, because that was a excellent program, and George started, I don't know how many years ago, but that was a program that George was on, and back in our day, I said it before, that we had to come into the office.
Yeah.
Every day.
We were using discs.
Yeah. So we had to actually come to the office. But now, you said you could work the program even if the person stay out of state.
Out of the country. We've done kids in Africa, in China. Yeah. I've had students in Africa.
Oh, wow.
In China.
Yeah. So
Hong Kong.
when they do it online now, so they don't have to come in at all,
Don't
or they have to come in.
Everything is done online. Everything is done.
But
online.
they do have to come in first to be evaluated to see.
No, they don't even have to come in first to be
evaluated. Oh, so you can do that online too?
Do that online as well.
It's too easy now.
Y'all
better call
that internet.
for this Fast Forward program, because this is too easy now. What?
That internet is and we have the programs like Thera platform that we can do everything over the internet. We can do the testing. We can do the exercises. We can do the monitoring. We can do the coaching. Everything online. Everything online.
Wow. I sure.
That's yeah.
I sure was.
Well, we were back in the horse and buggy day.
Yeah, we was back in where I had to show up every day when should have been sleep.
That's right.
I worked that night.
That's right. Right. We were back in the horse and buggy. We were back in the days when we had the CD discs, and that's been long removed. Now most of it's just touchscreen
and just quick.
And that quick.
So when the parents was bringing them in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
They just was bringing them, or
they were bringing, those kids were coming.
Okay.
5 days a week.
Okay.
And they were doing like George did. They were doing 90 minutes.
Okay.
90 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
So that's what I'm saying. They was coming because they wanted to bring them, or because they didn't have to come in, right?
No. They would come and bring the kids in the morning.
Okay.
At 9 o'clock, and then they'd come back and pick them up at 12.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that was good, and that's like tutoring, getting tutoring, extra.
Even more tutoring. You coming in and getting a brain tune up, a brain tune up in 37, 28 days. Come on, it really beat running around in the park for the summer, in one of the summer programs. And it's way past tutoring, because, what is tutoring? Tutoring is just another attempt to put more learning into your brain. Okay. But remember, fast forward is about changing the very structure in which you learn. It's enabling you to learn how to learn.
And yeah, Sonia, I'm gonna post it in the group when we get off the air about the fast forward. Because she said, can we post these services in the group?
Okay.
Remember how I think the last time did we do it in the one of the last chat? Put the fast forward services, because I think somebody from out of town had called.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had put the link in there. But okay. Yeah, we'll do it again after we get off the air.
And you can always call me.
Oh yeah.
The fast.
Right, the fast forward. Because we said that last time too, right? You're the only one.
Well, we're really looking hard to see if we can find anybody in the area that is doing fast forward beside me.
Right.
I know I have a good colleague down in Frankfurt. I know she's been doing it for years. She's been doing it about as long as I've been doing it. But that's in Frankfurt off of Interstate 80.
Right. But did you say anybody up north or just?
I think Judy LeDuc,
okay.
One of my colleagues, was up north in Lincoln Park, and she had did it for years, but I think they said Judy has retired.
Oh, okay.
So.
Because I think when we had talked about it the first time, they asked, like, why were you the only one with doing fast forward?
Doing fast forward. The answer to that is to do fast forward. It's not easy. When I became a provider of fast forward, I had to do a 3-day training and pass a test at the end. Back in those days, to become a fast forward provider, it cost $2,700.
Okay.
And you had to do this 3-day training and pass the test. So a lot of people didn't get into it because of money wise, and then the time wise. Who can sit for a child for 90 minutes? One child for 90 minutes. It's quite a bit, and you really got to understand. This is why that one child, where the parent got the school to pay for fast forward, to give him one of the licenses for fast forward, but nobody in the school knew how to administer the program. They tried to administer the program and was doing it all wrong, so it didn't work at all. So that was just time wasted, money wasted, child frustrated, parent frustrated, teacher frustrated.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
Well, Tamara said, do you have any weeknight or weekends opening? What's your latest time in the evening?
Well, we have parents coming in, family coming in at 7 o'clock tomorrow. We do take them as late as 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And weekend openings, how's the weekend?
Weekend we go from 8 o'clock. Of course, Saturday is our busiest time because that's when most parents are off. So we start at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning, and our last person comes in on Saturday at 6 o'clock.
Okay, she said thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That was Tamara, one of your patients. So, yeah, so like we said, if you want to get the fast forward, you can come to what? Brady Speech. The only person in Chicago.
We're looking.
Well, he said he's looking, but Tamara said she'll be calling. So,
but fast forward is like many other things. It seems like the more complex something is, the more benefit that something might have in helping a person, the harder it is to get, the harder it is to find.
That's true.
Because it requires training,
mm-hmm.
it requires investment, it requires time, and it requires skill and implementation. And some people say, well, it's too much. I don't want to be that involved. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you, to see these children and young adults, go from that struggling behavior to proficient, it's worth it.
Right, and that's what I was just getting ready to say, which is easier now, but maybe back then when I was coming, and a lot of parents probably didn't want to come because you had to come every day,
mm-hmm.
and you had to sit for an hour and a half
mm-hmm.
every day,
mm-hmm.
and so that probably was a problem.
Yeah,
so,
that's a problem. It's a big problem.
Like you just expressed how it's worth it,
mm-hmm.
and the joy of seeing the success stories afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now it's easier. You don't have to come every day. You can.
Mm-hmm.
He said you can sit right at home.
Mm-hmm.
And set it up where the child is doing it right online. They computer at the home, and then you can be cleaning up,
mm-hmm.
watching TV,
that's
or
right.
if you work at night like I used to,
mm-hmm.
in the bed, after you set the child up to do it over there, it's so much easier now. So why not give it a try?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said with anything, you give it a try. If it don't work,
mm-hmm.
then you end it.
Mm-hmm.
But you give it a try, and you have a success story, you're the next one to pass it on and tell
mm-hmm.
people about it.
Mm-hmm. And remember that it's housed in video games, and those kids love to play those video games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what keep them focused and keep them want to keep on doing it, because
mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, this is a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I like this, and they don't know the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's learning them. Mm-hmm. They learning.
And the parents can always go to that link, scientificlearning.com.
Okay.
That's what it is.
That's
scientificlearning.com.
Sonya, you hear that?
Scientificlearning.com. That scientific learning is just one word. Scientificlearning.com.
Okay.
Take it right there.
Okay. I'm gonna put it in the I'm gonna put it in when we get off. I'm gonna put the link in there. So.
Okay.
But if you contact Brady Speech, 5228 South Blackstone, the number 773-493-4000, and come get your services here. And we want to thank you all for tuning in. We'll be talking about some more speech therapy services, and also we hope we waiting on Trump we pretty sure he gonna sign the Autism CARES Act. So because it passed the House and the Senate. So and we'll find out follow the money so we could try to get some extra services and see if our communities could get some of them benefits.
That's right.
Of the almost $2 billion?
Yeah,
almost $2 billion. So we'll try to follow them services, call our senators and find out how can we connect and get some of these services in our community. But we want to thank you all for tuning in to Blue Table Talk. And I'll see you all next week. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Blue Table Talk. So Go on YouTube, look at Blue Table Talk. If you missed the video, you can play the replay back or catch it back on Facebook Live. So thank you all for your support. Thank you all for watching. See you all next week. Good night.